Hey, it's carlyrae here, and today I'm going to be revealing all of the books that I got this week in book mail. I got so many books. I can't decide which one to read first, so you guys are going to help me. I'm going to go through each book. If you guys are getting it in the mail, if you guys have heard about it, if you've read it, comment below and let me know. So without further ado, let's get started in revealing this week's book mail. The first book that I got in this week's book mail is from Berkeley Publishing, and it is Frankenstein. This book is perfect for October. It's why I selected it. And this one is by Mary Shelley. If you guys have read this, let me know. I've actually never read it. Give you guys an overview. The back cover says, the theory of Victor Frankenstein and the monster he created has held readers spellbound since it was first published more than 2 centuries ago. That's a super long time. On the surface, it is a novel of tense and steadily mounting dread. On a more profound level, it illuminates the triumph and tragedy of the human condition in its portrayal of a scientist who oversteps the bounds of conscience and of a creature tortured by the solitude of a world in which he does not belong. A novel of almost hallucinatory intensity, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein represents one of the most striking flowerings of the romantic imagination. It is a classic work of horror that blurs the line between man and monster. I'm really excited to read Frankenstein. This is the cover and it's super, look how awesome all, like the green, it's perfect for October. So this is definitely a read that I'm going to be giving this month, and I'm going to be letting you guys know what I think. If you guys have read Frankenstein, let me know. The second book that I got in my book mail is one I actually went and purchased at my local bookstore. It is Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmer. Here's a close-up of the cover. This one is a signed copy edition. When I went into the bookstore, I could not find this book, and I was like, okay, I know this book is out, so where is it? And I found it, and it's a signed copy. And yeah, I'm a huge Bridget Kemmer fan. I even got to talk with the author on Book Hour, which was awesome. So when I got this book, I started it. So I'm already on chapter 2, but I'm not going to tell you guys anything about this book, but I'm going to read you the inside cover. So if you guys haven't read it, this will give you a reason to check it out. So what it says is, a kingdom divided by corruption, the king desperately holding it together, a girl willing to risk everything to bring it all crashing down. Dun, dun, dun. And now we get into the back cover. It says, the kingdom of Canada is on the brink of disaster. Rifts between sectors have only worsened since a sickness began ravaging the land, and the only known cure, an elixir made from the moonflower petal, is severely limited. The king holds on to a tenacious peace with a ruthless hand. Out in the wilds, apothecary apprentice Tessa Cade and her best friend Wes are tired of watching people suffer. They risk their lives every night to steal moonflower petals and distribute the elixir to those in need. But it's still not enough. As rumors spread that the cure no longer works and sparks of rebellion begin to flare, a particularly cruel act from the king's justice makes Tessa desperate enough to try the impossible, sneaking into the palace. But what she finds on the inside makes her wonder if it's even possible to fix Canada without destroying it first. Da-da-da! So that is kind of the overview of this book. I did sneak and kind of flip through it. There are multiple characters in this book, and I believe... yeah, it's told in first-person perspective, so that's kind of like been her signature in the last few books. So I'm really excited to finish this book. If you guys have it, let me know, comment below. The third book that I got in my book pile, I actually got an art copy a few months ago, but I just got the updated version. It is this one, The Falling Girls by Haley Krischer. I hope I'm saying her name right. But I cannot wait to read this book. I believe... yeah, Jessica Goodman wrote a review on the back cover. I'm going to read more what it's about. So if you guys haven't heard of this book, it'll give you a reason, again, to check it out. It starts off, Shade and Jadis are everything to each other. Well, let's get into it. It says they share clothes, toothbrushes, and even matching stick and poke tattoos. So when Shade unexpectedly joins the cheerleading team, Jadis can hardly recognize who her best friend's becoming. Shade loves the idea of falling into a group of girls. She loves the discipline it takes to push her body to the limits alongside these athletes. Most of all, Shade finds herself drawn to the 3 Chloes, the insufferable trio that rules the squad, including the enigmatic cheer captain whose dark side is as compelling as it is alarming. Jadis won't give Shade up so easily though, and the pull between her old best friend and the new teammates takes a toll on Shade as she tries to forge her own path. So when one of the cheerleaders dies under mysterious circumstances, Shade is determined to get to the bottom of her death. Shade, because she knows Jadis, and if her friend is responsible, doesn't that mean she is too? In this compelling nuisance exploration of the layered, intoxicating relationships between teen girls and all the darkness and light that exists between them, novelist Haley Krisher weaves a story of loss and betrayal and the deep reverberations felt at a friendship's breaking point. So that's what this book's about. It sounds really, really intriguing, and it sounds like one I'm going to really enjoy because I love reading. And I mean, if you guys can see this, the words are pretty big and the pages aren't like super long. But it sounds like it's going to be a really great read. I love like YA mysteries, so this one is going to be kind of at the top of my list. The next book is from Entangled and Entangled Publishing. They sent me this book. It is The Wedding Crasher and the Cowboy. This one's by Robin Beelman. This is going to be my first book by this author. They also sent me one of her signature, like, what do you call this? Oh my gosh, bookmarks. There we go. They sent me one of the signature bookmarks that match this book, so I'm really excited to read it. I actually don't know what it's about, so we're going to read it together. It says, Kennedy Martin is shocked when her ex calls days before his wedding, expressing serious second thoughts. Doesn't he see his fiance's actually the glaze to his donut? Now Kennedy has no choice but to crash his wedding and convince the man he's with the right woman. Instead, she crashes into the absolute last man she ever wanted to see, Maverick Owens, her old college nemesis. Maverick is still as awful, infuriating, and just the worst as ever, even if he looks way too sexy in his cowboy hat. And of course, he's convinced she's actually at the seaside ranch to ruin the wedding. Now, the only way to get some FaceTime with the groom and save this marriage is to participate in all sorts of pre-wedding events with Maverick. Stuck on a canoe, making small talk at a cocktail hour, and even at a hoedown with her worst enemy, this might just be the longest week of her life. This book sounds like such a great read. I love that line, glazed to his donut. That's so cute. So I am definitely looking forward to diving into this novel. If you guys have read any by Robin, let me know. The next book in my book mail stack is from Jen Calanita. Disney Books and Jen sent me the latest copy of her latest novel. It is Lost Legends, The Rise of Flynn Rider. This one's under like 200 pages and it is so cute so far. I love it. The cover is amazing and the story is just as cute. So let's read the inside if you guys haven't read it yet. It says, before he was a legendary thief, he was just a boy named Eugene. Hi, how you doing? 12-year-old Eugene Fitzherbert needs a plan. He loves Miss Claire and the boys at the orphanage, but he's not a little kid anymore. He can't spend his days getting into mischief and acting out his favorite passages from the Flanagan Rider novels. In his imagination, he is that daring rogue Flynn Rider, and his best friend Arnie is a famous thief, Lance Strongbow, who steals from the rich and gives to the poor. Even though Eugene knows it's just a fun game, he can't help but wish there was more for him out there. Travel, riches, and maybe, just maybe, his parents. So when a traveling circus comes to the kingdom promising a life of excitement, brotherhood, and the unimaginable treasure, Eugene and Arnie see it as a start of a great adventure. But it soon becomes clear that there's more to the ragtag crew than what meets the eye. And it all takes new heroes, namely Flynn Rider and Lance Strongbow, to save the day. Filled with daring adventure and rollicking fun, the Lost Legends series explores the untold origins of Disney's most infamous rogue boys. Yeah, so far this book is super fun. I absolutely love it. If you guys have read this novel, again, it's out now. Comment below, let me know. The next book that I got is again from Berkeley Publishing. I got this for October. It is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. Look at this cover. I love the green, the spiders. Look at the green in the cup. This book, though, I actually have no idea what it is about. But it says, from the author of The Return, a darkly funny, frightening novel about a young woman meeting a witch who might be too good to be true. All her life, Annie has played it nice and safe. After being unceremoniously dumped by her longtime boyfriend, Annie seeks a fresh start. She accepts a new teaching position and moves from Manhattan to a small village upstate. She's stunned by how perfect and picturesque the town is. The people are all friendly and warm. Her new apartment is dreamy too, aside from the oddly persistent spider infestation. Okay, like, oh my gosh. Then Annie meets Sophie, beautiful, charming, magnetic Sophie, who takes a special interest in Annie and wants to be her friend. More importantly, she wants Annie to stop apologizing and start living for herself. That's how she lives. Annie can't help but gravitate towards the self-possessed Sophie and starts to spend more and more time with her, despite the fact that the rest of the townsfolk seem a little afraid of her. And okay, there are some things. Sophie's appearance is uncanny and ageless. Her mansion is in the middle of the woods and feels a little unearthly, and she does seem to wield a certain power. But she couldn't be. Could she? So this book sounds super intriguing. I cannot wait. I'm definitely going to probably add this to the top of my TBR for October because it sounds like something I need to read. Again, if you guys have this in your pile or you've read it, let me know. The next book in my book stack this week is from the author Sheila Roberts. She sent me her latest Christmas novel, A Little Christmas Spirit. It's never too early to read a Christmas book. I don't think. I read Christmas books all year round. So this is the cover and it's coming out soon. And again, the link will be below. So if you guys want to check it out, you can. But this one says, oh, and Sheila sent me this amazing thing about the novel. So it says, single mom Lexi Bell hopes to make this first Christmas in their new home special for her 6-year-old son, Brock. Festive lights and homemade fun, check. Friendly neighbors, uh-oh. The reclusive widower next door is more grinchy than nice, but maybe he just needs a reminder of what matters most. At least sharing some holiday cheer with him will distract her from her own lack of romance. Stanley Mann lost his Christmas spirit when he lost his wife, and he sees no point in looking for it until she shows up in his dreams and informs him it's time to ditch his Scroogey attitude. Stanley digs in his heels, but she's determined to haunt him until he wakes up and rediscovers the joys of the season. He can start by being a little more neighborly to the single mom next door. In spite of his protest, he's soon making snowmen and decorating Christmas trees. How will it end? Merrily, of course. A certain Christmas ghost is going to make sure of that. So this one sounds like a great holiday read. I cannot wait to dive into this book. Next book is from Berkeley Publishing. It is Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. I needed some more witchy books in my life. When I saw the title of this and all the mix of colors, I had to get this, and this is why I requested this novel. Now I'm going to give you guys just a short overview. I'll read the back cover and then we can chat about it. This book is about Emmy Harlow, and she's a witch and not a very powerful one, in part because she hasn't been home to the magical town of Thistle Grove in years. Her self-imposed exile has a lot to do with complicated family history and a desire to forge her own way in the world. And the only very tiniest bit to do with Garth Blackmore, heir to the most powerful magical family in town, and casual heartbreaker. But when a spellcasting tournament for which her family serves as arbitraries approaches, it turns out that the pull tradition or the family's and parental guild is strong enough to bring Emmy back. But she's determined just to do the familiar duty, spend some quality time with her family, and then get back to the reality of Chicago. On her first night home, Emmy runs into Talia, who's fresh off a bad breakup from, Garth Blackmore. Talia had let herself be charmed only to discover that Garth was also seeing Lindia, unbeknownst to either of them. And now she and Lindia want revenge. Only one question stands, is Emmy in? But most concerning of all, why can't Emmy stop thinking about the terrifyingly competent, devastatingly gorgeous, wickedly charming Talia? Get excited. This book sounds like a great read. I cannot wait to dive into it. All right, and the last book in my mail this week is Dune. Now, I just saw that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez were at the premiere of this movie, but this is Dune by Frank Herbert. And Frank Herbert's classic masterpiece, a triumph of the imagination and one of the best-selling science fiction novels of all time. A mythic and emotionally charged hero's journey, Dune tells the story of Paul, a brilliant and gifted young man born into a great destiny beyond his understanding, who must travel to the most dangerous planet in the universe to ensure the future of his family and his people. as malevolent forces explode into conflict over the planet's exclusive supply of the most precious resource in existence. Only those who can conquer their fear will survive. So I haven't read this book yet. It's kind of long. It's almost like 700 pages, but it does sound like a great read and something to like kind of change up my book stack and everything that I read in the month. So this one is definitely on one of my like top 10 TBR lists. So that concludes all of the books that I just got this week in my book stack, book mail. So I'm really excited to have shared those with you guys. Be sure to comment below. I included all the links to all of these books. So if you guys want to get one and you guys want a buddy read, you guys can go get your copy, and then definitely comment below and let me know which one you're starting off with. I'd love to hear from you. You guys can follow me on social media, HeyitsCarlyRae.com, or Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest at HeyitsCarlyRae. Let's chat about books and let me know what you're reading. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Bye!